Spero Academy Math Inventory. The Spero Academy Math Inventory is a Spero-made assessment that is kind of parallel to the NWEA Math assessment. So it's based off of the Minnesota State Standards, which is the same as the NWEA MAP. The only difference is that the Spero Academy Math Inventory has physical and paper copies that you can use, and it's really easily adaptable. So you can have students using physical manipulatives to show what they know, choices, matching, and those kinds of things. So the majority of the way that you will use the SAMI is going to be with the physical materials. They come in a binder, and we have those in the academic department in our workroom or our closet. And so you'll have to talk to us in order to get those. Otherwise, you can also access some of the materials online as well. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. I'm on the Spero Academy Academic Department website under District Assessments, and we will scroll down. Again, this website is made by us and just kind of constantly being updated, and so you'll want to check back and double check to make sure that you have everything that you need and see the new updates whenever you have questions. So the first place where you can locate this would be in the SAMI Drive folder. It's also in the 2022 Teacher Therapist folder. So if you double click on that Teacher Therapist folder, Assessments at Spero Academy, and then we've got the Spero Academy Math Inventory. And the first thing that you'll notice is that it's really, it's divided up by grade level. So the SAMI is, it goes pre-K, kindergarten, first and second grade. And then we also have the developmental level, which is a little bit different than the pre-K through second grade versions. So I'll tackle that one in another video, but for right now, we'll just talk about the pre-K, kindergarten, first and second. The visuals that we have right here are for the academic department. They're for us to make copies and create new binders, so we won't mess with those right now. The most common SAMI to get used is the kindergartens. We have many binders of those. So in here, we're going to have teacher scoring sheets, student versions, and Google Slide versions. The teacher scoring sheets should all look very similar. So make sure that you're getting the correct one because they, I tried to make them as uniform as possible and as clear as possible, but then that ended up meaning that they also look really similar. So we have the algebra, the geometry and measurement, and the numbers and operations. We also have these in PDF form because they're just easier to print that way. So you can download this and go ahead and print it. So I want you just to notice that this is going to be the total for the algebra kindergarten section, okay? And so if your student is going to get between 50 and 79%, then this is the right grade level for them. If they're going to score, if they score above 80%, then you'll want to give them the algebra section for first grade. So we'll just go one grade level up. If they score below 50%, then this student can go ahead and have the pre-K version of this assessment, okay? We've got some test administration instructions, and then we move into the actual scoring sheet. So one of the ways that we tried to make this a little bit easier is that the algebra is highlighted in red here. And then the question number 1 is highlighted in blue, and this is the total for question number 1. So you can see that there's kind of all of these sub questions, and so I just wanted to make it really clear that number 1 is worth 6 points, and that's where that goes. It's maybe a little bit, it gets a little bit more wonky for the numbers and operations. So I'll show you that one really quick. So you can see like this one is 4, this one is 3, and sometimes it goes onto the next page a little bit. So number 5, this one has 2 questions, 2 points for it. So that's just to kind of make scoring a little bit more easier. For this one, you know, this section's got 10 questions on it, so this kind of looks like it should be the answer for number 7, but actually the total for number 7 is down here. So we tried to highlight those and make that look a little bit more clear for you, and hopefully that helps. So there's 2 ways that you can, well, there's a few ways actually that you can administer the Spero Academy Math Inventory. You can give students the physical worksheet, the physical paper copy of the assessment. This would really be kind of the preferred method of providing this assessment, because this is how students will do a lot of their math work. They'll do worksheets like this, so that's kind of how we would like for students to be able to show what they know. Obviously, many of our students are not able to do that, so they need physical materials and kind of more simplified versions, and so that's fine. That's when you would go into the binder and start using those physical materials. But you can see here that, you know, a lot of students, even if they don't really perform well on the NWEA online assessment, they may be able to access this worksheet a little bit more easily. So they'll count the bears and then they'll circle the answer. And these should correlate really clearly with the teacher version as well. So you can kind of see all of these questions. The students are predominantly kind of circling or stamping their answers for that. These are the PDF versions for easy printing, but we also have the Google versions in case you wanted those for some reason. So those are the teacher scoring sheets and the student paper copies. We also have this assessment made into Google Slides, and Google Slides with a choice of 4. Not for every single grade level, we just kind of made it for the ones that we needed. But this may make it a little bit easier for some students who are used to doing work on the iPad or things like that, so that you can present them with it this way. So we'll have them count the bears and then they select their answer. We also had these turned into, we made these predominantly for distance learning, but we turned these into seesaw activities as well. And then we have the choice of 4 Google Slides, which is actually going to look really similar to the other ones because they mostly have choices, but some of them didn't have a choice of 4, so I'm not even sure which ones. Oh, like this one didn't have a choice of 4. So then the teacher will say the number and then they have to select which number. So that's just another kind of version of this assessment. Just make sure that if you're using any of these alternative versions that you're marking that on that teacher scoring sheet. Each student should have a teacher scoring sheet. Each student that completes these assessments in any of their formats should still have a teacher scoring sheet. And you'll turn that into the academic department and we put those in the students' permanent files. So all of these assessments are going to look really similar. The work is just slightly harder. There aren't as many modifications on that second grade one. Actually, I don't think we even have a binder for that one. It's just the student versions for second grade. Because, you know, at that second grade level, they're usually able to do some of those skills. So, all right, I hope that helped.